Let's start with the offensive side of the ball, Luke. The offensive side of the ball. Well, actually, let me before we get going. I expected that this class was most likely going to be not the greatest. It's probably going to be small. They would have to do what they had to do. Kind of a late start when it comes to this class, but I think they did what they had to do. Let's go ahead and start with Ty Sexton from Katy Jordan High School, 5'10, 180-pound slot receiver, a little big for a slot receiver, 3-star slot, attended the game against UTEP and had his official visit that weekend where it seems that he committed almost immediately afterwards. Like I said, bigger slot receiver could bowl well in Longo's system because we've heard a lot, Luke, about how Longo really loves his slot receivers. We saw them getting used quite a lot this year. Sexton held offers from Memphis, UNLV, Texas State, Utah, and amongst others. One thing I really like that stands out to me, Luke, about Sexton is his running ability after the catch and handoff, especially off those jet sweeps. He also does not seem to be too shy away from contact. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the film on here, the way he can run the ball real quick. But Luke, I think this is going to be a pattern you're going to see with Longo's high school recruits, is that he's going to really put an emphasis on slot receivers, especially in a system that he runs.
He wants those type of athletes, and he's talked about it. He recruited in the transfer portal, obviously, bringing over Grady O'Neill, um, kind of a similar type role. I think those two would kind of play, but yeah, interesting. And Katie Jordan, high school, of course. So obviously used to big 6A ball, uh, which you're going to see usually better athletes and bigger guys. So interesting. And he had some other pretty good offers. So you have to kind of like that, right?
Yeah. Do you really put any really emphasis on who they were offered by? Is there do you really put any emphasis on? I put some emphasis on it, but I don't really put too much emphasis on it. I just think it's a cool fact to look at to see who
A
else
little
is looking
bit.
at him.
A little bit. I mean, it is fun to see, like, oh wow, we got this guy over Memphis, right, or Texas State, um, and like obviously, like most of the time, you know, Alabama's not recruiting bums, right? So I'll kind of look at that too, just to see. But also, once one school, uh, offers a guy, in comes all the others.
Yeah.
You see that all the time. If a guy will commit to, let's just say, uh, Western Kentucky, right, as a junior, or like a really good, G5, like a James Madison, right? And here comes all the Power Fives will come in
Yeah.
and try to sweep him up. So that it's always interesting, but uh, I look at it a little bit.
Let's go up to Alito, where Caden Winkfield is another offensive guy that they were able to get in this 2026 recruiting class. 5'11", 190 pounds. Uh, you know, he goes from being a Bearcat with a C to a Bearcat with a K. Another 3-star, essential to Alito's undefeated run that they are on. They defeated Denton Ryan actually this past weekend to continue their undefeated run, displaying physicality in the run game. He has decent protection, blocking, really, really good agility, in my opinion. In his senior year, not really displaying a lot in the passing game, Luke, but I think that will come outside of pass pro, but I think that will come in due time when you look at the stats. He held offers from Texas State, UTEP, Tulsa, Ark State, amongst others. Fun fact, though, Luke, I don't know if you're this well versed in Texas high school football, but if you are, you may have heard Alito quite a lot because that was where one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Texas high school football players of all time played, in Jonathan
And
Gray.
Gray.
Yeah, and why do I bring that up, Luke, as well? It's not just the fact that Winkfield is a running back at Alito. He's also trained by Jonathan Gray.
Jonathan Gray, I think, is like the number one running back recruit like of all time. Like his stats that he put up in high school. If you go look it up, Colin, it is
Oh, I looked it up.
Colin. It's like otherworldly. Like, you thought Derrick Henry was a man in high school. Like this dude's high school tape. Oh my goodness! And to be fair, like he was a really good college player too. He just kind of dealt with some injuries, but like this guy was winning Player of the Year, player. I mean, there wasn't a week that it went by that he didn't win Player of the Week. I mean, that's how good this dude was.
Yeah, and the fact that Wingfield is being trained by him, he has a hell of a teacher. I'll tell you that. And I really like it. I really like Wingfield. There's something there. When I By the way, guys, I am not an expert. I am not a scout. I just say what I say because that's what I see. But there's so- it's all it really comes down to, folks. It doesn't matter the stars. They're just something cool to look at. It doesn't matter um like that rank recruit rankings don't matter. It's just about how they develop and is there projection with an athlete. And in a lot in all these guys that you're about to see, you're just gonna have to think, is there projection there? That's what I'm gonna say. But when it comes to Wingfield, I see a lot of projection here. I kind of like what I see here. But I don't know, Luke. What do you think of what I say about rankings and all that? Do you think I'm kind of swinging a little too much for the fences there, or do you think I'm hitting par for the
I don't
course?
know. I mean, uh, you are way. I do look at stars a little bit. I'm not. I mean, if Sam Houston were to land a 5 star, that's all we'd
Oh,
be talking about. Like,
oh,
let's just be
yeah.
honest.
Let's
Um,
yeah, absolutely.
right. And and all the star is a projection of how good this guy could be. That's all it really is. They don't really know. I mean, if you look at Indiana right now, you know how many 5 stars they have on their roster, Colin?
If I remember correctly, overall their blue chip status is like under 10%, and it's like one of the lowest. But they have 0 5 stars.
They have 0 5 stars, yet they're the number one team in the country, who just beat, I think, the team with the most 5 stars in Ohio State.
Crazy,
Um,
crazy how that
so,
works.
so like to a certain extent, yes. Is it the entire picture? No. So it's what you do with them when they're in the program, and that's it's everything for Sam Houston. So they got to hit where they hit, but
Yeah,
um, yeah, I like the class and Colin. I see them kind of dabbling a little bit of everything. But I like them getting bigger in the interior. Two big defensive linemen,
yeah.
couple O line.
We'll get to those.
I think that's what they needed to do. And a guy from like an Alito, that's a winning culture, Colin. He is surrounded by a winning. That's all they do in Alito, and they're probably going to win 5A D2 or no, I think they moved to D1 this year or last year, but they're
Whatever it
probably going
is.
to win it again this year. So
Yeah. Well, you spoke a little bit about the offensive lineman. Guy you're pretty familiar with, Huntsville native,
yeah,
Trey Williams, starting left tackle for the Hornets, also 3 star. He was offered by SFA, La Tech, Arc State as well. I mean, look, you watch his huddle. I mean, this guy has a great motor. Does not stop until the whistle. I mean, really the cliche stuff. But he served quite a lot of pancakes night in and night out. I'll be interested to see in his development. I think he could be a bit of a project. One thing I would like to see what happens when he goes through, like all these guys here, Lucas. What happens when he goes through the college strength and conditioning programs that they offer? Because it's a whole different ball game than in high school. But Luke, you're more familiar with Trey than I am. What do you think about him?
obviously a good kid. He's not a guy that I was able to talk to a ton, just because when I was reporting for Huntsville High School, uh, it was a little hard getting to the O line guys. I think it might have been, I don't know if it was the coaches or whatnot, but it was always kind of hard to connect with that group. But from what I do know about Trey, good kid, really tough, and like you said, it's always surprising of how much bigger and stronger these guys get from that first year or first and second year in college football. It's and just when you think they can't get any bigger and stronger, then you look at the guys like in the pros after they go through their first full season, like full off season, they just get so much bigger and stronger. And so I think we're going to see that with Trey. Obviously, the dude's over 300 pounds already listed, so he's a big dude. But very interesting uh, uh, prospect. And what's also cool is that Sam Houston in the past, Colin, and you know this, they do not recruit Huntsville at all. They stay away from Huntsville guys um, for whatever reason. Maybe it's just they don't want those kids there. They they don't want to stay so in house. I don't know. It's weird, but you just haven't seen that. And I think there's kind of been a transition throughout the entire program, athletic program, volleyball, uh, baseball, now football, all having Huntsville athletes.
I think I think it kind of helps as well that you have a former Bearcat as a head coach now for Huntsville.
Yeah,
And there's also a couple of other, Bearcats as well. I mean, Mabus is one guy. You also have Brennan Tibbs that's on the coaching staff as well, as long as a couple of other guys uh, that help that
for
out
sure. And
quite a lot.
there's multiple Bearcats, um, like you say, on the coaching staff that hey, they'll ask, hey, what's it like going to Sam Houston? And they can they can give a real answer, and it's not just the recruiters. It's not just the pretty blonde walking them through the campus and saying, "Oh, look how great this place is." As actual guys or whoever, giving real answers and saying, "Yeah, it's a good school."
Let's move on to the last offensive guy that signed on early National Signing Day, a JuCo guy in Joseph Warren, right guard, coming in from Colon Community College. Pull it up right here. Like I said, it rounds out the offensive side of the ball. He is the first transfer portal acquisition of the 26 portal class. He committed back on December 1st and, of course, signed a few days later. From Greenwood, Mississippi, he held offers at first fluke from just non-FBS schools in UT Martin, West Georgia, Prairie View A&M, and amongst others, including a couple other SWAC schools. Physicality from the right guard spot. He was a mainstay there. I mean, he can move. Seems like to always look for a way to continue making plays in pass pro or run blocking. I'm not really want Luke to go to when it comes to linemen, much less any position in football. I mean, linemen's really hard to evaluate. You have to really know your stuff to evaluate, people that are in the trenches, defensive linemen and offensive linemen. Um, projection, of course. I think he'll serve well that in a room that I've already hinted to that desperately needs to be rebuilt due to graduations and losing Rhett Larson to the portal. And hey, who knows, Luke? Maybe Warren ends up being that replacement at the right guard spot.
You never know. Um, it's hard. It is hard to evaluate because so many guys in high school you can get away with just being bigger and stronger a lot of times, but in college, you really start to have to rely on some technique and working with your
Technique,
hands and whatnot.
technique.
You just said it. Yeah, exactly. So who knows? I bet you it's a transfer acquisition that finds its way, or someone that's already on the roster.
Well, let's go. That's the offensive side of the ball done, Luke. Let's get to the fun part. This is where I think that the Longo and the coaching staff have done well so far, as in the part of putting emphasis on. That is the defensive side of the ball. And they got a couple of DBs, they got a couple of D linemen, like you already mentioned. But let's dive first into the first 2026 high school recruit that committed to Sam Houston all the way back in July. And I'm, of course, talking about Cato Jr. from Westfield, Indiana, Westfield High School. No, I'm sorry, folks, not the Westfield that is just south of Huntsville. I know y'all are pretty disappointed, but I don't think you're going to be disappointed about this guy when it comes to what he could bring to the table. Son of former NFL linebacker and Super Bowl champion with the Indianapolis Colts, Cato June. Cato June Jr., three-star defensive back. He was offered by Miami, Troy, Marshall, Eastern Michigan, and others. According to his huddle, Luke, he runs a 4.35 or 3.8. I saw those numbers, 40-yard dash. Of course, you can take that however you want. But it's probably why Lukey was also the return guy for the Shamrocks up in Indiana. Fast and agile, probably a perfect. It seems like a perfect fit for Freddie Autry Lindsey's nickel based defense, because in a nickel defense, Luke, you're going to need athletic. You're going to need athletes, the ones that can go across the field. But I guess it also doesn't hurt to have an NFL veteran and linebackers coach as your dad as well. I don't know what do you think about Kiddo Jim from what you've heard from me? I know you haven't really had time to look at the film and such, but yeah.
Got the NFL bloodlines, Colin. He's got that NFL blood in him. No. I think that is something to be said. Probably has a good home life. Understands football and it's around the game a lot, which is always good. I can't lie. I'm not gonna lie and say like I've seen this guy play or like I've watched film. Like I just haven't. But
No, that's fair.
5'10", 170 is a little small. I think at corner.
He is a safety.
So I'll even smaller.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's kind of split time between safety, but no, you were right the first time. He's been mainstay at corner.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a little small, but it's definitely intriguing because Westfield, Indiana is not necessarily anywhere close to Huntsville, Texas.
He is
so
the
and most of the recruits that we're getting, I think pretty much all of them, outside of like you said, Warren, who's a community college guy, they're all from Texas. So he's going to be kind of on his own in that regard.
Let's move on. Another DB, another 3-star. This time though in Humble. It's not humble. It's Humble. Marcus Borda.
Humble.
Marcus Borda Jr. Well, not yeah, I was right. Humble. I almost got a little ahead of myself, but a lengthy safety, 6'1", 185, feisty, physical. I think he'll bring decent length to the field especially with how good of his open field tackling from what I could see on film was. But this is a defensive back room that's getting rebuilt, Luke. I mean, I also see that there could be potentially some untapped athleticism again, strength and conditioning. We'll see how that goes. But judging by how people have talked about him on social media, when you do your research, he seems like a great personality. He seems like a good guy, a good kid. He held offers from SMU, Oregon State, UNLV, New Mexico State, Ark State, and UTEP. So there was quite a lot of schools that were in on Borda Jr. But I talk about the length here, Luke, and I think that was a part of the room that was kind of lacking this past season. Was you had guys that were athletic, but you didn't have really any lengthy guys that you could probably rely on. And you need some length in this kind of defense that Autry Lindsey likes to run. But I think this is another decent grab here for the Bearcats once again with how late they had to start with the 2026 recruiting class.
And I'm watching this NFL game while we're talking. Another pick. I think that's 6 tonight. 5 or 6.
6, 7.
Speaking of, did you enjoy your 6-7 weekend this past weekend, Colin?
We made the Chiefs 6-7, but continue.
Yeah. The length you talked about, 6'1". That's, I think, what
that's about the ideal.
Got this guy.
That's the ideal size.
A lot of attraction. Yeah, I mean, I would rather have a 6'1" guy than a 5'10" guy.
Yeah,
no question. But yeah, another good recruit. Colin looks like local guy. So I think they definitely have plenty of eyes on him being in Humble. Just kidding. It's Humble. And like you said, like had some offers. I mean, SMU, ACC team ish, Oregon State power, conference champion this year, Oregon State. So,
isn't Sam Houston technically now the Pac-12 champions?
We just beat Oregon State in football. We're fixing to beat them in basketball too, Colin.
Yeah, for sure. Let's round out the high school recruits when it comes to the defensive back room. They grabbed another one in Robert McFarland this time out of Houston Lamar High School. Um, he had quite a couple of accolades whenever I first when I first read up upon him. Um, another 3-star true safety, exciting athlete. This was interesting, Luke. I was looking on this. I was doing some research. This is verified, by the way. He ran the 5'10", 184, by the way. He ran 22.19 miles per hour on a chase down tackle. It's apparently verified, and it looks legit. So take it for what it's worth. But that just shows me that this is a guy that hustles. Really, a lot of these guys are not afraid of contact. Of course, it's a cliche, but he showed me some things where I'm like, okay, this guy wants to get in there. He's also a really good. He's also a playmaker. He held offers from Navy, Army. I'm a Navy guy. Go Navy, beat Army. And you have UTEP. He was apparently, according to On3, also contacted at some points by Minnesota, Wazoo, and Wyoming. But you can see what they're trying to do in the defensive back room, Luke, and it's pretty it's pretty obvious. But they're gunning for some athletes.
It is obvious of kind of what they want to get bigger, stronger, faster, guys in space. That was their goal, I think, going into this recruiting cycle. And different years you're gonna look for different things. I think obviously you want the best players available. That's not a question. But there's gonna be years where you emphasize size over speed, or in positions and whatnot. And I think we're seeing some athleticism being prioritized.
Let's now go into the trenches. They got two guys from for the defensive line, Luke. Not too far away from where you are in Denton Ryan High School. Go Raiders. They couple 3 stars along the defensive front. We'll first start off with Uzziah Warmont. Um, really intriguing guy. I should say. I've heard some good things about him. A 3-star. He also goes by Cookie, by the way. So I think when he had defensive lineman with a nickname like that, he's probably pretty good. But we'll see. Of course, played all over the place though. Luca. He played on the interior. You can see him playing like a 0 tech, 1 tech, 2 tech, but he'll also line up as a wide 9 sometimes. And the versatility, I think, is one of the main reasons why Sam Houston was pretty interested. But he's also strong. He's also pretty quick, explosive. I saw Scout labeled him as twitchy and explosive. He held offers from UTSA, Georgia State, Sacramento State, and one from Houston. But yeah, this guy I like quite a lot. But I kind of want to combine these things since we're kind of running up against it here a little bit. He also the same Houston also went and got his one of his partners in crimes in Earl West Jr. From also Denton Ryan High School. I liked this guy quite a lot, Luke. I mean, I was intrigued about him at first, but then I was more intrigued. Because you have Warmont that got 5 sacks, West got 6 sacks this season. There's one thing that stood out to me about this 3-star Luke. He's freaking strong. I mean, is multiple clips on his huddle. I mean, then again, those are clips or whatever. But he gets behind the line. Once he wraps up a running back or any desirable ball carrier, you're just not escaping him. He's dragging them back. He's literally dragging them backwards and saying you're not going anywhere else. Freaking strong, 6 foot. I saw 250, 200, 250. I think that
An
might be
edge guy,
wrong.
right?
Yeah, he's also an edge. He's an edge guy too. But actually, no, I think that height and weight's actually wrong. But forgive me. But dude's freaking strong, Luke. I kind of like the fact that they got two guys alongside the same D lineman in high school because that chemistry is already there. They both committed to Sam Houston, so they're bought in with the vision. I kind of like what they did here, Luke, with Uzziah and Earl West Jr.
I agree. And there's definitely worse high school Texas high school football teams to go get guys from. Denton Ryan is a very good team. They're probably one of the few 5As that could contend with the 6As pretty heavily and physically match up against them. And getting guys, I think, down low, I think that's so important, Colin. I mean, you see these teams in college football. You look at in previous years Texas and in this past year Ohio State, Indiana is really strong up front, up the middle, in that core of that defense. That's where they're at their best.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Sam Houston's kind of trying to make a push for that and recruiting those type of guys and building up this roster. Now, do I see either one of these guys starting freshman year, true freshman? Probably not. Um, I think they're both in a position where they just need to get bigger and stronger. But these are the type of guys I like seeing Sam Houston go after. And part of that, I think, is long goes recruiting.
Let's go down back south. Uh, the only linebacker that they got in Ryan Mallory from Randall High School. You've probably I don't know if you probably remember him, Luke. But this guy, he's a Mike, but he also lines up outside sometimes. Was very instrumental, Luke, last year for Randall winning the 5A Division II state championship. So this guy knows how to win. He's part of a winning culture with Randall, and he's very intriguing, Luke, because Sam Houston is his only FBS offer. I couldn't really find any more places he was offered by outside of a
Colorado offered him.
Oh, Colorado offered him. Okay, that was my bad. Thank you for
Coach
correcting me.
Prime offered him.
Probably didn't want him anyway. Anyway, but yeah, just he was also the Class 5A defensive MVP last year. He was half of the top linebacking duo in Class 5A in 2025 by Dave Campbell's Texas football. So this is an intriguing guy, 6'1", 200 pounds. So big guy, freshman coming in. That linebacking room is a desperate room that that desperately needs to get rebuilt. I mean, you got a couple of guys that I think stepped up late in the year this past season. But I think this might be a little sneaky potential, maybe diamond in the rough kind of grab for Sam Houston.
I think so too, Colin. All the Dave Campbell's guys, they rave about this guy, and I think he's gonna have to get a little bit bigger to play at Sam Houston's level. I don't think he can survive at 190 being linebacker. Now that's just a listed weight. Who knows what he really plays at? He's probably closer to maybe 210, maybe 205, 210 probably, but he's gonna have to be a little bit bigger. But I think this is a guy that his first offseason, goes well. I think this guy's gonna see a lot of playing time.
And finally, to round things up, Bearcats got another JuCo guy on signing day. and the jokes have already they've already come on in, Luke, but they were able to get a guy from Tyler Junior College in Justin Trello, Cotrell, but like I said, he goes by Trello as well. You can see his film right here for those watching on YouTube. But very interesting. He's labeled as a corner, but he's labeled himself as a nickel. 6 foot, 170. Apparently a 4.340. Again, you kind of have to take those numbers with a grain of salt. He played 7 games, 35 tackles, 8 pass breakups, 5 TFLs. He blocked the field goal as well for Tyler JC. Do the Bearcats have their own Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship? No, I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding. But I saw the jokes already come in once everyone saw that he was signed.
The amazing, or what do they call it? The amazing whites. Thrilling whites? What is it?
I don't know what it is, but from
exciting white. The exciting whites. Yeah, maybe so.
West Columbia, Texas. Where is that?
West Columbia, Texas.
Yeah, I don't.
I believe that's kind of down by Houston.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get. I'm probably gonna get. Probably gonna get thrashed at for not knowing where that is. But again, you know, a guy that I don't really.
Uh,
I mean, I don't know.
Not really.
I mean, I don't really know much about this guy. I've only watched this film once because I was trying to gather up the film very quickly for this looking at that signing day. But you know, I like his footwork. It's quick. He's a little twitchy. But I don't really know much about this guy. But they might like him quite a lot. He could be a depth piece. That's one thing about this team, look, that they also desperately need in the offseason. They need to get guys in there that can also just be depth. I'm not saying they're not going to start, but they need depth. And if at best if Trello over here is going to be a starter or a depth piece, it's a success. And yeah, but that's all when it comes to early national signing day. If you were to grade this class, Luke, this 2026 recruiting class, how would you what would you grade it for what you know?
I think a B would be
Okay.
fair.
I'd
Um,
say B plus around that range.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I would say B minus to a B. I wouldn't say we smashed it out of the park. Um, I think only we just didn't sign that many guys, which I'm
Yeah.
a little concerned about. But I kind of like the guys that we did sign. So, um, yeah, there's some definite potential in that class. So I'll give it a solid B.